The headphones pressed tight against my ears. On the screen, my husband sat in a corner booth with his mother and sister. His voice came through the audio, clear as glass. She trusts me completely. Once she signs over her grandmother's property, we file for divorce. Mom, you were right. Marrying her was the smartest investment I ever made. My hands started shaking. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I thought I knew my husband. I was about to find out I never knew him at all. My name is Maya. I'm 29 years old. And until that moment in that restaurant manager's office, I believed my marriage was real. Let me back up. I work as a junior accountant at a small firm downtown. It's not glamorous. I don't make a lot of money, but I love what I do because I'm good at it. Numbers make sense to me. Patterns jump out when something doesn't fit. I was raised by my grandmother. My parents passed when I was 7, a car accident on a rainy night. Grandma took me in without hesitation. She wasn't wealthy, but she had a small house that was completely paid off. She worked hard her whole life for that house. 2 years ago, she died peacefully in her sleep. She left me that house. It was the only thing of real value I owned. I met Derek 4 years ago at a friend's birthday party. He was charming, handsome. He made me feel seen in a way no one had before. We got married 3 years ago. I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. His family was another story. His mother, Patricia, always looked at me like I was something stuck to the bottom of her expensive shoes. His sister, Leah, wasn't much better. They made comments all the time. Derek could have married anyone you know. You're so lucky he chose you. Most men want someone more polished. I brushed it off. Derek defended me. Or at least, I thought he did. I wasn't flashy or wealthy. I didn't come from a powerful family. I had no parents to protect me, no siblings to stand up for me. But I had something they underestimated. I knew how to spot when numbers didn't add up. And their lies were about to stop adding up. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. Because this story is for everyone who's ever been made to feel like they weren't enough. I trusted Derek completely. I ignored the red flags because I wanted to believe in love. I wanted to believe that someone actually chose me. That belief almost cost me everything. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon. I was at my desk, buried in spreadsheets, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Is this Mrs. Hayes? A woman's voice, nervous, almost whispering. Yes. Who is this? My name is Diane. I'm the manager at Rosario's Bistro. My heart skipped. Rosario's. Derek and I used to go there all the time when we were dating. The little Italian place with the red checkered tablecloths and the candles on every table. Mrs. Hayes, I need you to come see something. Please come. Alone. I frowned. I'm sorry, what is this about? A pause. Then, don't tell your husband. The line went dead. I stared at my phone for a full minute. My first thought was that it was a scam, some weird prank. But something in her voice, that nervous tremor, made me uneasy. After work, I drove to Rosario's. Diane was waiting for me in the back office. She was in her 50s with kind eyes and graying hair pulled back in a bun. She looked like someone's mother, someone's grandmother. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. Please, sit down. She closed the door behind me. Mrs. Hayes, I recognized you. You used to come here with your husband. The corner booth by the window. I nodded slowly. That was our spot. 2 nights ago, your husband was here, but not with you. My stomach dropped. He was with 2 women, an older one and a younger one. They sat at table 14. Patricia, Leah. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, Diane continued. But I walked past their table several times. I heard things that disturbed me. She turned her computer monitor toward me. Security footage was already pulled up. Our cameras have audio. I saved this because... She hesitated. I have a daughter your age. I couldn't stay silent. She handed me a pair of headphones. I put them on. On the screen, Derek sat in a booth with his mother and sister. Patricia was sipping wine. Leah was scrolling through her phone. Derek looked relaxed, happy. Then Patricia leaned forward. How much longer do we have to wait? Derek smiled. She is almost ready to add my name to the property deed. She thinks it's for our future. My blood turned cold. Leah laughed, actually laughed. I can't believe she fell for it. Did she really think you loved her? And then Derek said the words that shattered everything. She's lonely and desperate. That's what made her perfect. The room started spinning. I gripped the edge of the desk to keep from falling. But the footage wasn't done. Patricia's voice again. Once we sell that property, we'll finally pay off the business debts. She'll never know until it's too late. Derek nodded. By the time she figures it out, we'll be long gone. The footage ended. I sat there, frozen, the headphones still pressed against my ears even though there was nothing left to hear. Diane touched my arm gently. I'm so sorry. I couldn't speak. My entire marriage, every kiss, every I love you, every moment I thought was real, was a lie. A calculated, planned, deliberate lie. They'd been planning this since before the wedding. I was never a wife. I was a target. I removed the headphones slowly. My hands were steady now. The shaking had stopped. Something else had taken its place. Something cold. Can I get a copy of this footage? Diane nodded. I already made one for you. I drove home in silence. No radio, no phone calls, just me and the road and the sound of my own heartbeat. Derek was on the couch when I walked in. He smiled at me like nothing was wrong. Hey, babe. Long day? I looked at him. Really looked at him. The man I'd shared a bed with for 3 years. The man I'd trusted with my heart, my home, my future. Yeah, I said quietly. Long day. I didn't confront him. Not yet. The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I had to pretend, every single day. I had to smile at Derek, kiss him goodbye in the morning, say, I love you too, when he said it first. But I wasn't sleeping. I was watching, and I was finding everything. The first thing I noticed was the Tuesday dinners. For over a year, Derek had been going to family dinners with his mother every Tuesday. He said it was boring business stuff, estate planning, nothing I'd be interested in. I checked the date on the restaurant footage, Tuesday. They'd been meeting without me every single week, plotting, planning, laughing at me while I sat at home thinking I had a loving husband. One night, I casually mentioned it. Maybe I could come with you next Tuesday? Meet with your mom and Leah? Derek barely looked up from his phone. You'd be bored, babe. It's just estate planning stuff. Nothing fun. I smiled. Okay, just thought I'd offer. But I was taking notes, every lie, every excuse, every time his story didn't match. Then came the public insult. My coworker Julie invited me to lunch. She looked uncomfortable the whole time, picking at her salad instead of eating. Maya, there's something I need to tell you. I set down my fork. What is it? Last month, I was at that salon on 5th Street, the fancy one. Your mother-in-law was there. Patricia getting her hair done. That tracked. I wasn't eavesdropping, Julie said quickly, but she was talking really loudly to the woman next to her. She called you? Julie hesitated. What did she call me? The little orphan project. The words hit me like a slap. She said, Julie's voice dropped. She said she has no family to protect her, which makes everything easier. I sat perfectly still. No family to protect her. That's how Patricia saw me. An easy mark. A lonely girl with no one to turn to. And suddenly, I remembered all the little moments I'd brushed off. Patricia introducing me at a family gathering as Derek's starter wife. Everyone laughed. Derek laughed. Patricia asking if I ever considered getting work done because Derek deserves someone who takes care of herself. Patricia reminding me at every holiday that I was lucky to be included in their traditions. All those years I thought I was being too sensitive. I wasn't. I was being conditioned. But the financial exploitation, that was the worst part. I'm an accountant. Finding hidden money is literally what I do. So when I started digging, I found everything. A year ago, Derek convinced me to open a joint savings account. It'll be easier for us to save for our future together, he said. I transferred money into it every month. I thought we were building something. He'd been draining it. Slowly. Quietly. A few. 100 here, 1,000 there. Nothing big enough to trigger alerts. Just a slow bleed. Then I found the paperwork. Remember those tax documents Derek asked me to sign a few months ago? I was busy. I trusted him. I signed without really reading. They weren't tax documents. They were forms to add his name as co-owner to my car. My car. The one I'd had since before we met. And the property deed? The one to my grandmother's house? Derek had been pushing me for months to add his name. Just as a safety thing, babe. In case anything ever happens to you. I want to make sure our home is protected. Our home. It was never his home. He'd prepared the paperwork. It was sitting in his desk drawer. All it needed was my signature. I almost signed it last week. I sat in my office staring at the evidence spread across my desk. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of lies. And he almost got away with it. I didn't cry. I was done crying. I called in sick the next day. But I wasn't resting. I was building a case. What they didn't know was that I'd spent 7 years learning how to find financial fraud. My job was literally catching people who hide money. I reviewed accounts for a living. I traced transactions. I found the discrepancies that most people miss. Patricia thought I was naive. Derek thought I was desperate. Leah thought I was pathetic. They were all about to find out that the quiet ones are the ones you should have watched more carefully. I'd sensed something was off for months. I couldn't name it. Just a feeling. A heaviness in my chest that wouldn't go away. So I'd started keeping copies of our financial documents in a lockbox at my office. Not because I suspected anything, just force of habit from work. That habit was about to save my life. And the deed to my grandmother's house? The original was in a safety deposit box that my grandmother set up years ago. Derek didn't know it existed. I never added his name to the deed. I kept meaning to, but something always stopped me. I told myself I was waiting for the right moment. Maybe some part of me knew. Maybe my grandmother was protecting me from beyond the grave. Either way, that hesitation saved everything. I started organizing everything I had. The footage from the restaurant, the bank statements showing the drained accounts, the forged car documents, screenshots of his calendar showing the secret Tuesday meetings. I put it all in a folder. I labeled it The Truth. The next step was finding an ally. I thought about who I could trust, who would believe me, who had the skills to help me fight back. Then I remembered Simone. Simone was my college roommate. We'd lost touch over the years. Life gets busy, people drift apart. But I knew she'd become a family law attorney. A good one. I called her on a Thursday night. Maya? Oh my God, it's been forever. I know. I'm sorry. I need help, Simone. Something in my voice must have told her this wasn't a casual catch-up call. Tell me everything. I did. I told her about Derek, about Patricia, about the footage and the money and the forged documents. I told her about 3 years of marriage built on a lie. When I finished, Simone was silent for a long moment. Then she said, Maya, this isn't just betrayal. This is fraud. We can bury them. She asked me to send everything. I did. 2 days later, she called back. I've reviewed all of it. You have a case, not just for divorce, for criminal charges, the forged documents, the financial manipulation, all of it. Your husband and his family are in serious trouble. For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than anger. I felt hope. Diane agreed to provide a written statement. She also gave me an official copy of the footage, authenticated with timestamps and security logs. Everything was falling into place. Meanwhile, Derek had no idea. In fact, He was getting more affectionate. Flowers just because. Love notes on the bathroom mirror, telling me I was his forever person. I understood why. Our anniversary was coming up. The anniversary dinner. The one where I was supposed to sign over my grandmother's house. Patricia called me personally to invite me. Maya, sweetheart, we want to do something special for your anniversary. Dinner at our house. Just family. It was the first time I'd ever been invited to a Tuesday dinner. I said yes. That night, I pretended to be asleep when Derek took a phone call in the bathroom. Through the door, I heard everything. Yeah, Mom. She'll sign it this week, I guarantee it. By next month, we're free. Free. That's what leaving me meant to him. Freedom. I lay in the darkness, eyes open, heart cold. When he came back to bed, he kissed my forehead. Love you, babe. I didn't respond. He thought I was asleep. The next morning, I told Derek I had a surprise planned for the anniversary dinner. He grinned. Oh yeah? What is it? You'll see. I've been working on it for a while. He assumed I meant the signed deed. I let him assume. For the first time in my marriage, I had a secret too. The anniversary dinner was at Patricia's house. It was a big place. Old money that had run out years ago, but they kept up appearances. Crystal chandeliers, antique furniture, the smell of expensive perfume masking something rotten underneath. I arrived with a large envelope tucked under my arm. Derek's eyes went straight to it. Is that what I think it is? I smiled. You'll find out soon. Patricia greeted me at the door with a hug that felt like a snake wrapping around me. Maya, sweetheart, so glad you could come. Sweetheart, that word again. It used to make me feel warm. Now it made my skin crawl. Leah was already in the dining room scrolling through her phone. She looked up, smirked, and went back to her screen. We sat down. Patricia poured champagne. A toast, she said, raising her glass. To family and to the future. Everyone clinked glasses. I took a small sip and set mine down. Actually, I said, before we eat, I have something I'd like to share. Derek's face lit up. Patricia's eyes went to the envelope. Of course, sweetheart, Patricia said smoothly. We're all ears. I stood up slowly. My heart was pounding, but my hands were steady. Before I show you what's in this envelope, I want to play something for all of you. I pulled out my phone. Derek frowned. What are you doing? Just listen. I connected to the Bluetooth speaker on the sideboard. Patricia had one in every room. She loved showing off her smart home. I pressed play. Derek's voice filled the room. She's lonely and desperate. That's what made her perfect. The blood drained from Patricia's face. Derek's mouth fell open. Leah dropped her phone. The recording continued. Patricia's voice now. Once we sell that property, we'll finally pay off the business debts. She'll never know until it's too late. And then Derek again. By the time she figures it out, we'll be long gone. Silence. The kind of silence that swallows everything. Derek was the first to speak. That's taken out of context? Is this out of context too? I reached into the envelope. Not the deed they expected, but bank statements. Stacks of them. Highlighting the money he drained from our savings. I dropped them on the table. Or this. The car title documents. The ones I supposedly signed for tax purposes. Or maybe this. Screenshots of his calendar. Every Tuesday meeting. Every secret dinner where they planned my destruction. Leah stood up. You're being dramatic. I turned to her slowly. Leah, your mother called me the Little Orphan Project. I don't need your opinion. Leah sat back down. Patricia's mask slipped. Just for a second. I saw something ugly underneath. Desperation, maybe. Fear. Then she tried to recover. Maya, sweetheart, you're misunderstanding. We're family. We would never… No. My voice was calm, steady, final. You were never my family. You were thieves pretending to be family. I pulled out the last items in the envelope. This is what's actually in here. Divorce papers, already filed with the court, and a letter from my attorney regarding potential criminal charges for fraud and forgery. Derek stood up so fast his chair fell backward. You can't do this. The house is mine. It was never in your name. I never signed, and now I never will. His face twisted. You think you're so smart? You think you can just… Derek. I picked up my purse. For 3 years, you lied to me. You used me. You made me think I wasn't enough, so I'd be grateful for crumbs. I walked toward the door. But I was always enough. I was more than enough. And you knew it. That's why you had to break me down. I reached the doorway and turned back one final time. Derek's hands were shaking. Patricia was frozen. Leah looked like she might throw up. You'll regret this, Derek hissed. I promise you. The only thing I regret, I said quietly, is believing you were capable of love. I walked out. I didn't look back. The divorce went through faster than I expected. Derek tried to fight it. He hired lawyers, made threats, played the victim, but he had no legal standing. Nothing was in his name. Everything I had was protected. Simone helped me recover most of the drained savings through legal action. It took months, but we got it back. The fraud documentation became part of the court record. Patricia's business, the one they were so desperate to save, faced an investigation. Turns out, stealing from a family member isn't a great look when you're already under financial scrutiny. I kept my grandmother's house. For the first time since Derek moved in, I felt at peace there. I painted the walls. I planted a garden in the backyard. I put up photos of my grandmother that Derek had always pushed to the back of the closet. It felt like home again. Diane and I became unexpected friends. We meet for coffee sometimes at Rosario's. She always gives me the corner booth. 6 months after everything, Derek texted me. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I read it once. Then I blocked his number. For 3 years, I performed the role of a grateful wife. I smiled when they looked down on me. I stayed quiet when they insulted me. I accepted crumbs and called them blessings. But that silence was never weakness. It was patience. And when I finally spoke, I made sure they'd never forget what I said. If you've ever discovered that the people you trusted most were using you, I see you. I know how much that hurts, but I also know you're stronger than they gave you credit for. If this story meant something to you, hit that subscribe button. I read every single comment. So tell me, where are you watching from tonight? And if you've ever had to walk away from someone who didn't deserve you, share your story below. You never know who needs to hear it. Your story matters. I'll see you in the next one.